everyone, and welcome back to a continuation of this video series on debunking alleged Islamic claims that Muhammad, the Muhammad of Islam, did exist in the 7th century, where the traditional narrative tells us about his geographical location, about the date of his existence, and so on and so forth. We've looked at 12 such claims, and we have debunked each one of them. Today, we're going to look at claim number 13. With me here in studio to do so is Dr. J. Smith. Welcome back, Dr. J.
Thank you. Yeah, so now we're going into these documents that supposedly are from the 7th century. We looked at the Ashtami letter there in the monastery. You can just go to the slide. You can see a picture of it up there. We pretty much debunked that because internally it's just full of errors and has material there that could not be that early. All of these are from the 9th, 10th, and 11th century. Most scholars suggest, therefore, that the Ashtami letter is a 16th century fraud, written by the monks and redacted back to the 7th century, putting a hand, it could be anybody's hand there, and claiming it's from Muhammad. That was his signature.
Similar to the Gospel of Barnabas, redacted back.
Redacted back, or the Gospel of Thomas, or any of the Gnostic Gospels. They're all redacted back, using claims of people that they say were the authors of this. So that's the same thing with the Ashtami letter. Now we come to another one, and this is known as, let's look at the slide here. This is number 13. This is the Constitution of Medina. Now, the Constitution of Medina is what Muhammad supposedly created when he moved to Medina. He was in Mecca. He was kind of the underling. He was not well respected. He was from the wrong tribe. He was in the Qurayshi tribe. They were looked down upon by the other Meccans. He was not. He was getting these weird prophecies, and people didn't like what he was saying because it was very full of references against what they were doing, the practice what they were doing. And so the Ansar who were in Medina was called Yathrib at that time.
That's right.
The Ansar were the natives of Medina. They were having problem with the Jews. Why? Well, like everywhere, everybody has problem with the Jews.
The word for Ansar here can be translated the allied, the one who formed an alliance with him. Yeah.
But they were the ones up in the north, in Medina and in Yathrib, and they didn't like the Jews because the Jews were enriching themselves, as Jews do everywhere. They are so successful. Everybody's jealous of the Jews. Even today, they're jealous of the Jews. And so this is, we should not expect this to be new. This is quite normal. Well, the Ansar did not control the commerce. The Jews did. And there are three major Jewish tribes, the Banu Kanuka family, the Banu Nadir family, and the Banu Qurayza family up there in Yathrib. So they needed help. So they go down to this Prophet Muhammad, they claim, and they ask him to come up to arbitrate between them and the Jews. And he does. And that's called the Hijrah. He does this in 622. Within 2 years, he decides that he needs some help, so he puts together this Constitution of Medina. Now, let's look at the screen, and there it is right there. Now, it doesn't exist today. There is no document called the Constitution of Medina from the 7th century. That's just a copy of what they think it would have looked like, okay? So that's a rendition. It's a modern rendition. And it's these articles who are there. And what's fascinating is, let's look at it, and it's a document, and it's actually a document supposedly signed by these three groups: the Ansar, who are the Arabs, the native Arabs; the Banu Qurayza, Quraysh, and Nadir, and the Banu Kainuka, who are the Jews that have been there for millennia; and then, of course, Muhammad and the Muhajirun, the people that come with him, people of the Hijr that come with him, who are about 80, some say maybe 200. They signed this document. This is what Muslims say today. This proves that Muhammad exists because this is his document, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's now look at some problems. Let's go back to this slide and let's look at the problem. Problem number one. When you look at it, this is the model for mankind, Muslims say today, written between 622 and 624, that 2-year period when he started this arbitration. He needed help, so we put this document in. And it's first and third, you notice, is it is full of praise for Jews. So it's pro-Jewish. Yet, if it's so pro-Jewish, why don't the Jews today have record of it? There's no record of it anywhere in any Jewish writings. In fact, as we now know, there are no Jews that far south. And this is well known by Robert Hoyland's material. Robert Hoyland makes this very clear. He can't find any reference of anything that's Jewish south of Khaybar. Khaybar is as far as they got, because there's no reason for Jews to go any further than that, because the Jews would have been traders. And there's no trade that far south that was of significance. Why? Because there's no water there. No water, no food, no people, no towns, and all the rest. So you don't have Jews retaining this document, yet it's so pro-Jewish. which is ironic. Number two, there's no archaeological evidence of Jews in Medina. I just said that. Now I've just repeated myself. Hoyland made this very clear. Nothing that early, that far south. In the 8th and 9th century, the Jews finally make their way there. Why? Because now Mecca becomes important. It's the center of all the sacrifice, of all the pilgrimages, and it's becoming a large city, along with Yathrib, which now is made Medina. Jews would be there then, but not in the 7th century. There's no Jews that far south. It also contradicts, number three, look at the slide, it contradicts the Sira and the Hadith. If you look at the Sira, which is the biography of Muhammad, and you look at the Hadith, what he said, they are very cruel against the Jews. This document isn't. It's just the opposite. Let's go to the isnads for the Constitution are absolutely confused with different versions. And why do they even need them if they have the isnads in that case? And then the Quran does not refer to any Constitution of Medina. In fact, you can't get any tradition of the Quran. If it was such an important document, why is it not there in the Holy Book itself for Muhammad himself to support him? Here's the other big thing. Look at the very first article. In the very first article, it shows that this Muhammad is to be the arbiter between man and God. What Jew would sign an article like that? What Jew would sign any document like that? No Jew would sign a treaty which gave Muhammad the authority over them, and also as an arbiter between them and God. And then it first appears, the first time you even see this document, is in the Sira of Ibn Hisham of 833. As we now know, that is the Sira of Ibn Frederick Wustenfeld from 1860, 1,000 years later, redacted back to Ibn Hisham. So much, much too late. It's about 1,000 years too late. And then the Muslims should not accept such a treaty because it contradicts so much of what the Quran says about the views of the Jews. So in conclusion, let's go to this slide again. And the conclusion is very clear. The historians such as Hoyland and Andrews, both Dr. Hoyland and Dr. Andrews, consider it a fraud because there was no Jews that far south, and the only source for it comes from the 9th century Muslim traditions, too late and too far away. Thus, it is nothing more than legend.
And by the way, when we studied it as a Muslim, they will tell you this is the constitution that the Jews violated, hence the Quran turned negative on them, and Muhammad began his military attacks against them.
That's why they need it. Now, I want to go to one more because we want to get one more in here, and this is the number 14. This is the Doctrina Iacobi. Now, the Doctrina Iacobi is a Greek Christian polemical tract written from Carthage, which is in Tunis today, the country of Tunisia today, but it was what the city of Tunis is today, but written in Palestine. So this guy is from Carthage, way over in Tunis, but he's way over in Palestine, way over to the east, on the eastern coast of Mediterranean, written by a Christian apologist, and it refers to a Saracen prophet. Why doesn't it call him a Muslim prophet? With a sword, who has the keys to paradise. That's what it says, right? Huge problems with this. Number one, here's the problem. A Saracen prophet cannot say the Christ who was to come. No Saracen prophet would say that because chapter 33, verse 40, Muhammad is the last prophet. So how can he talk about a prophet yet to come after him?
That's right.
That contradicts the Quran.
Exactly.
It assumes that Muhammad is alive in 634 when we know, according to the Islamic tradition, the Standard Islamic Narrative, he died in 632. But the traditions say he died in 622, so I'm 32. This prophet, according to this document, it has the keys of paradise, which confronts the Islamic tradition. More than that, this prophet fits in much more of a Judeo-Christian monotheistic background. And this Christ that is referring to, the Christos in Greek, is Mashiach in Hebrew, who was to come. Hold on a minute. He is yet to come. He already came. That's the wrong person. And of course, if Muhammad is it, since where does Muhammad call him the Christ? No, it's always Isa who is the Christ. He has the keys to paradise. Let's take that apart. That's from Matthew chapter 16, verse 19 in the Bible itself, and it's referring to Peter's papal authority in the Catholic Church. So you can see why a Christian would write this, but not Muhammad. And certainly Muhammad would not have known about, or anybody who wrote the Quran would not have known, or wrote this Doctrina Iacobi would have known of Matthew 16. More than that, since when did Muhammad speak Aramaic, since this is written in Aramaic? Jews would not have known Arabic, and Muhammad would not have known Aramaic. So therefore, you can see coming and going, there's a problem here. So what's the conclusion? Let's open up the conclusion. Notice this. There is no reference to the name Muhammad in this document. That's the first thing. We've noticed that from the other first 11 that we looked at, except for 5 of them. No reference to this prophet being a Muslim or belonging to the religion Islam, nor any reference to the city of Mecca, nor of his book, the Quran. He could be anybody. It sounds more like an Arab Christian brigand employing the status of a prophet to gain for himself more credibility and authority. There's just nothing Muslim about him. And of course, whoever this person is knows the Bible pretty well, which Muhammad would not have. So you can see coming
Evidence by his teaching in the Quran.
There you go.
Yeah.
So lots of things for a lot of problem with both the Doctrina Iacobi and also the Constitution of Medina.
So we have 2 more claims left, and summarizing that after that, what are we going to look at next time?
Well, we're going to look at the mother lode. We're going to look at this book right here. This is where they claim Muhammad is. He's all through this book. So we're going to confront those 2, that one, and then we're going to look at the Dome of the Rock, end off with the Dome of the Rock, because that is 690, 691. We'll do that in the next episode. Let's confront those 2, because then I'll bring the 16 claims to a conclusion or to an end.
Wonderful. Thank you so much as always. Thank you everyone for joining us. This is Fadi. Take care. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. And ring the bell so you will be notified when we release new content. Our mission is to reach Muslims with the gospel of Jesus Christ and help Christians engage with their Muslim neighbors. If you want to join us in this life-changing work, please support us on patreon.com/Sira International, or just click on the link below.